Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for a new episode of Anewgo of New Home Sales. I'm your host, Anya Chrysanthon, and joining me today is my original co-host, our CEO, John Lee.
Hey guys.
And our Director of Sales, Sarah Williams.
Hey everybody.
So today we'd like to dive deep into the fact that Anewgo announced recently that we're working on introducing websites for new home sales and marketing specifically. So Sarah and I had a chance to visit Anewgo headquarters recently, and we were blown away when we had a little preview of the website that we're working on for one of our clients right now.
Mind blown.
So we wanted to spend a little bit of time today talking about why Anewgo decided to get into the website business, how we see new home sales and marketing changing with the introductions of AI and new technology, and how our solutions are going to be addressing and solving some of these new pain points and challenges that are coming up. And Sarah also already received lots of phone calls from our clients and potential prospects who are interested in exploring the possibility of a Anewgo website. And so we wanted to address some of the questions that we've been hearing from them, as well as misconceptions, objections. So we're going to get into all of that. But first, John, let's start with a little bit of a history lesson and talk about the history of websites.
Especially for a lot of people that why am I doing this stuff? Let's go back in history. Websites was really spawned from the birth of the internet. That was over 25 years ago, which really caused the first major paradigm shift, which is going from print to digital. Websites were also part of a digital evolution from newspapers, which was the print medium for the mass market audience. And so you see the correlation there in websites. That's why we have things that are on pages, and you're browsing and you're scrolling and you're flipping and navigating, just like you would in a traditional newspaper, going to the sports page and continued on page section 3A or whatever. But also the content is very similar. They carried over that same static generic content. Everybody got the same newspaper with the same content in there, and there was nothing you can personalize about that. And the way you were able to maybe find the content that you want in there was that you had to manually go through an indexing or classifications. That's why we had classified ads. So you can see how everything derived from that original print medium just required a lot of human effort. We all remember the days that we had to use those newspapers and market in classified ads. And in marketing new homes, the main goal was to direct the shoppers where and how to shop. You start in the classified ads, then you direct them basically to meet with someone. And now with the website's very similar. You get Google to take you to the website, which is like the online newspaper there. You go through your indexing and search terms to find what you want. And then it's taking you offline to go and meet with a salesperson. Now, the next evolution for websites really was the paradigm shift to apps. Mobile apps, and websites really responded well. They created responsive design. So every website out there should have responsive design for mobile. Now, AI is the next major technology paradigm shift. And in addition to all the cool tech, it's actually changing the marketing goal and approach. It's not only directing the shoppers where to shop, but it may actually utilize AI virtual assistants to help them shop throughout the entire customer journey, or even become the surrogate shoppers to bring the desired personalized content to each buyer. And each of these paradigm shifts in a very macro level actually spawns a lot of new businesses and a lot of opportunities. It's not just disruptive to old businesses. Following print to digital, it actually spawns search engines, websites, of course, and then e-commerce. That's how Amazon came about, because of the internet and going online. With apps, social media, Facebook, that really took off there. Uber, because now you got the rides on your phone, and Netflix, being able to watch things remotely. And even our own Anewgo apps, we wouldn't exist unless apps evolved. Now, one of the things that when the paradigm is shifting, this is where the marketing people need to pay attention, because is AI really the next big deal? I think it is a big deal because I've been through all these changes. But you really identify the paradigm shifts by following the content creators or the publishers, because they are the first to change, to adopt to the new mediums. They're the tip of the spear. And you can see when newspapers evolved, they evolved to websites, and then websites evolved into, even for news, app news feeds. So you can actually subscribe to Google News or Apple News or Flipboard, and it will curate what you want to read about, news you want to hear. And now with AI, it's actually generating a lot of that content for these publishers, and it's also distributing in a conversational way. So in our industry, Anewgo is the visualization content creator for unbuilt new homes. And so we are feeling the need and opportunity for AI to generate that content and to communicate in a multimodal way, which means that it's not just through text, but it's also visually, which is what we create, pictures with 1,000 words, what your new home looks like, and also even through voice. And so the interesting thing is, as we're creating all this stuff, we still have to be backwards compatible to all the old mediums. So we still create content for print brochures. There's still people out there who do that, even for obviously for websites and for the apps. And so I think what's going to happen with websites in the future, you're going to have it all. You're going to have to be SEO friendly. You're going to have to be mobile friendly. And now you're going to have to be AI friendly.
That's a lot to unpack there. It's definitely a paradigm shift. I saw a meme online recently and it made me laugh. It said, we were told not to talk to strangers on the internet, and then we were told not to get into a car with a stranger, and now we're ordering Uber on the internet and getting in the car
With strangers.
Talk about
Yeah.
paradigm shift, right? It's
So true.
I was trying to get a bank loan when we first started our company, and they said, if you're going to take credit cards online, we don't do that because that's never going to happen. Guess what? Every day I'm buying things online. Yeah, things are changing.
So things are changing. So John, how do you see websites, the role of the website change in the coming years?
Websites, I won't say it's reached its peak, but it has to change because you're seeing a lot of things that are affecting it. Google is now going cookieless. They're probably the last browser, and they're the biggest one that is going cookieless. They are started with 1% in January, and by the end of the year, everything's going to go cookieless. And that's great for privacy, but what's going to actually happen is it's going to adversely affect retargeting, because now it can't follow you where you're going with your IP address. It's going to group you with people that are similar to you. Now, that's really going to affect new home marketing, because I don't think you can just group people into that to market your homes. Also, now with AI, it's generating some of that SEO content. It knows the right words to put in there, and it's using predictive and even automated marketing to do. That's going to disrupt a lot of publishers and agencies, because AI is taking over. And just to that point, Google is rumored to be laying off 30,000 employees related to their paid search division, and they're replacing it with Performance Max, which is an AI-driven, not just content creator of the right terms, but it knows where to put the ads and who to place it to, in place of kind of cookieless. And so with that, with AI, the other major thing that's going to affect the consumers is that instead of trying to figure out the 4 or 5 keywords to put you into the realm of what you're interested in, to then search thousands of websites and then come in and out and do it again, in a sense, instead of AI trying to learn how to speak like machines, the machines have learned how to speak like humans. So you just express what your needs, your desires, your problems are. And instead of becoming a search engine, it becomes more like an answer engine. It brings the content to you. And so you're going to start to see that really start to diminish the value of the websites in this as far as being at the top of the funnel, because it's going to all your websites and it's bringing just the relevant content on page 4, scroll 3, paragraph 2 to where you are at. The other thing that's happening is people that traditionally go into websites, they're going to aggregation sites or portals or marketplaces, because they're already following that. So people are actually shopping from Facebook and TikTok and even Google. That websites, just like on Amazon, may be a secondary step in the shopping process. After I found what I wanted on Amazon, now I'll go to that website and learn more about it. But I'm going to actually check out on Amazon because my account is set up there. So the websites are still going to be very important, but it may not be the part where you are attracting the audience and first engaging them.
I want to ask John, whenever we talk about this, everyone's always like, buying a home is different, John. When we're talking about going and buying something on Amazon, cars are now being sold on Amazon. So I know you and I talk about this, but can you share with our listeners the future of what you think could happen?
E-commerce, which Amazon is the biggest example of that, right? That's where everybody shops online. Traditionally, they have dominated in a lot of consumer space. Simple products, easily to compare, not a lot of complexity to it, not a lot of hand holding. So this year, they've introduced that they're going to start selling cars online, starting with Hyundai. And one thing is they've broken that legal barrier that dealerships really had, that kind of put a stranglehold on going online. Tesla had to go independent because fortunately, they didn't deal with the dealerships. But the way they're able to address selling cars online is they're going to use AI virtual assistants. They use Anthropic as their AI, and Claude could be the name for it. But basically with that virtual assistant can now help them shop for those cars, explain all the features, compare the features, talk about warranties, talk about how to get the loans, all the complexities that you had to go offline for and meet with someone. Now you can potentially do it online with the help of virtual assistants. And I think after cars, I always feel like houses are always 5 to 10 years after what happens in the automotive industry. I think once they break that sound barrier with AI, houses could naturally be on there.
I want to bring up a point too. Sears used to have a catalog and you would order your home through a catalog.
Yes.
And that was before the era of the computer. So those are some of my favorite houses, actually, when I drive around neighborhoods to see a Sears catalog home. They're like some of the prettiest homes out there, and you bought the kit. So I just want to remind that people used to buy homes from catalogs and call up and order it. So this is not as far-fetched, I think, as a lot of people might consider, because we've been doing it the same way for a long time, but it has been done differently in the past.
A house coming to a Shein near you, right?
Right. Well, Amazon's got the home delivery part down. Now we just got to deliver those
Well,
home.
and manufacturing and modular is a huge space that we talk to because of trade shortages. I talk to manufacturers all day, every day here at Anewgo. We help them with their renderings and their floor plans. And that is a huge, I think, will shift. I'm going to get off track here, but that's a huge shift I think our industry is going to see.
Just one final note on that. How many times, Sarah, have we heard builders say, hey, we want a Tesla-like shopping experience on our website?
Every day, every single day,
man. So I tell you, they're just echoing what their consumers are saying and themselves as consumers. Can't be done with current websites. It has to be done with a new type of website.
So what you're saying, John, is that the argument that it's too complicated to buy a home online is becoming outdated because now we do have these 24/7 built-in virtual assistants, AI, that are essentially acting as humans. And I bet most people wouldn't even be able to tell the difference when they're speaking to AI or an actual human.
Right.
So they're available 24/7 to answer the most complicated questions, like you said, about warranty, all the ins and outs about
loans, insurance.
cars.
Yeah.
And same thing with new home sales. Obviously, it is a very complicated topic, not to take away from that, but the rise of AI is driving that possibility, because now if we do employ those virtual assistants that are available 24/7 to answer all of your questions, and they are able to answer in-depth questions, not just the surface level questions, and they don't require the human, then sure, if I feel comfortable feeling that, hey, all my questions are being answered, why wouldn't I buy it online?
Especially in a post-cookieless world where the buyer now actually wants a concierge service, not necessarily a salesperson, but I want somebody in your organization or something in your organization, I don't know what you're going to call AI here, to actually cater to my needs, because it's not just the house, it's the lifestyle, it's the timing, it's the price, it's the options. And I want that at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I want to communicate this with my wife online when she's on a different device in another room or even remote. To be able to have that collaborative experience requires a lot of data that's actually being passed back and forth and stored. And AI also has the ability to recall, but it also has the ability to now take what you're explaining and present it back to you in a visual way. Because we don't want to sit here and talk all these architectural terms, and I still don't know what it looks like. So I think the thing for us is we've been creating all this wonderful interactive content. and people are very engaged on their website. But the problem is the website itself is not interactive. Here's an analogy. It's like we created all this great high definition streaming video and movies, and then it's being shown on a standard definition TV that has no internet connection. And so what was great ends up being terrible. And then what ends up being terrible, nobody goes to anymore. So we need to now change the TV set. We need to change the whole website channel, pardon the pun, the whole channel there. So it's modern, it's interactive, it's personalized, it's private. It starts where you left off, just like on Netflix. Nobody wants to go back to season 1, episode 1, like a generic static website. It needs to start off where Anya left off and where I left off.
So I've heard an argument of somebody saying with the virtual assistants, for example, that is a fad, that nobody's going to want to put that on their website, that people are not that lazy to just surf the website, that it's easy enough to surf the website. What do you say to that?
Yeah, that's a great point, Anya. I think we're not trying to take away from any shopping approach that people would like to do. They can still window shop. They can still browse on a traditional website and look at generic thumbnails. And I think as an introduction, that's a great part. But when I actually want to now take that shirt off the rack and I want to take it to my own dressing room and I want to design it in my own different way, a lot of times there you need some consultation. What's the price? What's the fit? How you have it available in other colors? When you need that service, and buying a house is much more valuable and important of a purchase than a shirt, you want to be able to have that expert available. And I don't necessarily want to go offline to do that. I actually, at this point, I'm just browsing, but moving down the funnel, but I'm not ready to buy. I'm not ready to actually talk to anybody about purchasing. So I actually think the AI could be a great step in the process at the discretion of the shopper.
Also, Anya, you and I talk at length all the time at the time of day these shoppers are actually doing it, and that is when we're not staffed, right? When we're talking about AI virtual assistants and any sort of AI, you can have it when someone's unavailable, or you can have it when people are sleeping or home with their family. And when we look at our data, the most engagements happening, what did we say? It was like between 12 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning before anyone's even at work. It's when people are surfing the internet, as we've talked about. So that's really where you're going to see the impact. You can absolutely staff it with real humans, and we're not against that, but some builders don't have the means to do that either. They don't have the funds to be able to staff it for long periods of time.
Yeah, and I think also we found that even if you staff humans, I forget who was on stage with me. Oh, actually, it was someone from Atlas RTX.
Yeah.
And he said the best demo when he demos to builders is he actually brings up their website when they have a live chat during a demo, and he types in a question and watch how long it takes somebody to get back to them. And normally nobody actually does while they're having during the whole demo that they're having.
Yeah, so
or
true.
It takes 30 minutes. And so in order for you to sell homes online, if that is something that you're thinking about, then virtual assistants is certainly a great solution to that, because again, the availability 24/7, and it's not the virtual assistants of the past. Now with AI, it's much more advanced, that it is capable of answering much more sophisticated questions. So John, you talked about the issues that current websites face when it comes to this new technology. And obviously, one of the things we've talked about is even being able to find that website, right? We're talking SEO is out, AIO is in, and a lot of these websites are not actually optimized for AI in order for shoppers to be able to reach that. And I think you shared a recent article that said of current websites that are ranking in the top organic search results, only 4% of them showed up in a virtual AI assistant chat. So in other words, if I was to go to Google and search top 10 home builders in my state, and organically they're going to come up, those websites. Then
Mhm.
if I was to go to say Claude or ChatGPT and was to type that in, it's not the 10 top, it's
Right.
only 4% of those actually showed up in the search because of AI optimization. So there are issues not only with the websites themselves, but because of the way they're structured, because of the type of information that and how that information is displayed on the website, they're not even being able to be found by AI assistants, which poses a big threat to
Huge.
home builders, because if you're not being able to be found by your target audience, what's going to happen? Let's talk a little bit about changing the channel, as you said, John. How's Anewgo trying to change the channel? What is going to be different about our website from what's available out there currently?
Yeah, first of all, here at Anewgo, everything is about improving the customer experience and journey. And we started out obviously as a visualization content company to provide more interactive content, improve the communication, and increase engagement. We're starting to get stymied here by the housing, by the structure of the current websites, which is now taking you back into a static generic world. So what we hope to do is now create a completely interactive, personalized experience on the builder's website, not a third-party outsource tool that shows up as an iframe, like a pop-up window, or even takes you to a different domain address, but to keep all the activity, all the engagement, all the data on your own website for that complete brand experience. And not only will your website function as just a tool to attract and maybe initially engage the audience, but it can actually now become more like an e-commerce platform where it moves them down an online sales funnel and sales journey all the way through lead generation, curating those leads, and then even maybe converting those leads if you enable buy and reserve online. And because we know that websites are just part of the customer journey for a new home buyer, because it's over multiple sessions, over multiple periods of time, and across multiple channels. You may start off on a portal or marketplace, then go to the builder's website, and then go to the community center. We have to tie all that together, because one crack in that whole channel, you actually could have your customer fall through it. So we want to continue that whole customer journey, and we want to bring up the website just like what Zillow, Realtor.com, and all the other major portals are doing to their platform. What's the point of somebody having a great experience on a portal which has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in all this great technology, and then they come to the builder store and they go back to 19? So we want to keep that engagement, that excitement going, and provide a great experience for both the customer and great insights for the builder.
The other thing I was going to add too is part of the discussions I have with builders and especially marketing agencies, they want to keep everybody on the website in that domain name. So here at Anewgo, we've created a third-party solution. So whenever you're working with us today, not our new websites, but today, it is iframes. It is open to a new window. It is creating a whole page with a full width iframe. And no matter who you talk to, even us, it's not the way we want the experience. The website company wants the experience, the agencies or the consultants want the experience. And we've heard our clients loud and clear, but there's no solution unless we create the solution, because we are one of the top content providers in our industry, that we need to create that solution of creating a whole entire environment that all of these tools that our clients like to use are seamless and it's completely integrated. We've heard our clients and the experts in the industry say it should all stay here. We want it to. We're not going to not allow people, if they want to not use us for websites, to do it, but we really want to create the best in class experience. And unless we do it ourselves, it's not going to come to fruition. We'll have the best experience. A secondary website or outside website with our tools, there'll still be a little bit of friction there. It still works. It's just a little more friction than what we're trying to create.
As we've mentioned before, we have a Anewgo omni-channel ecosystem. And to me, this is the last piece of the puzzle. The websites have obviously been the dominant platform for the builder's store, but we've created, using our content, our own sales kiosk, which is a very seamless customer-centric experience. And we've also built our Anewgo marketplace where a buyer can shop across thousands of builders, plans, and communities and options and home sites, and even build on your land. And that's utilizing all this new AI technology, from smart filters to recommendations, and even a search engine in that marketplace. We want to take all that technology, all that wonderful customer experience, and be able to even communicate with your co-buyers and instant message and save your favorites, and even rate your favorites with stars. Bring that all into the builder's website domain without us colliding with the website provider, because 80% of the content that is also probably the most attractive and engaging elements of your website is actually our content if you're our clients. The rest of the website is almost a frame of branding information, referential information about your contacts and about us. A lot of our customers are saying, hey, why can't you just make your app our website? The rest of that other static evergreen stuff, that's easy. And yet, why are we spending tens of thousands of dollars on the frame of the picture when the picture could have the frame included?
The other big thing too, John, depending on how they implement the
Right.
products that we offer, they take static images of our interactive content, and we joke around, it's like creating a room, dragging it through the door, and now they've moved it to a whole nother page instead of it being like married together, because they can't, because they're completely separate entities. So they're taking all of this content that we've just created and dumb it down again, move it over here and duplicate it. And they still
then link back into our app
to link back into the other room again. So it seems really silly to anyone that's probably listening to this. You're like, wait, what? Explain that again. We don't have to. I'll just tell you, it's backwards. The whole entire process has been backwards. We've seen it, but we didn't have a solution to offer our clients. That's what this is about.
Yeah, it's actually not even just backwards. It's very convoluted, because what happens is we create that content. The content is always current with us. So whenever you have a revision, what we have in our app is actually live, whether it's a floor plan change, a color change, new bricks and stones or whatever, even the pricing, because we pull in information from your ERP, the lot stats, everything is current. Now, if you're an outside hosting website company or creator, you have to now make sure you download that information and not just wait till tomorrow's feed once a day or whatever, and then send that back up, because now the buyer is picking out a home site that's no longer available, or the price has changed, which could be a huge liability issue and confusion issue. The one thing that we also create on our back end is, without getting into a lot of technical terms, in our content management system, when we create that content, not only is it live, but it's live and in sync across every channel in your ecosystem, from your sales kiosk to your Anewgo marketplace. So you're never out of sync. The buyers are never out of sync in what they were shopping on and they have in their favorites. And you don't have to, as a builder, pay and even spend the time to download, reformat, upload, put to a page. If the page is not ready to link, you have to go build a page to now link it to our app. If it's all put together in a website, not only is it a better customer experience, and now you have one single menu across the top that covers all the interactive elements as well as all the referential elements and your branding, but also we have one login for the buyer. They have a buyer's portal. So that's their shopping cart. That's one big difference for us, is our website is not like traditional websites where not only is it generic static, but it's fixed. When I say it's fixed, it means you have a fixed URL, a fixed navigation path. The pages are all fixed. Our stuff is dynamically generated. So when Sarah Williams comes into ABC Builder and she sets up her account, it creates a Sarah Williams page, a Sarah Williams shopping cart. And she can invite other people to collaborate with her on that, but it's her private set of favorites and all her unique designs. And we're basically creating dressing rooms within the big department store. Now, next time you come back, maybe you don't need to go through the lobby of the department store. You just want to go back to your dressing room and pick up those 15 shirts and narrow it down. You can just go straight to your private dressing room. On the back end, on Insights, we're there to see how the shopping behavior is from you being an anonymous third-party traffic coming through SEO, our search engines, or even AI in the future. But we see how those footprints have now turned into fingerprints. You're not looking across different systems. And now you're starting to see these type of footprints that come from California, or they come from this ad campaign, or the people that have been back the third time. They want a different level of content, more personalized, because now the content in the interactive dynamic website can dynamically change around the profiles of that shopper. You can't do that currently in a static fixed website. Everybody, I don't care if it's your third visit or you're coming from Maine instead of California, you see the same thing, same pricing. We want it personalized around you. And then when you are further down the funnel, it's not about the builder, it's about you. The builder's content will now come around you, because that same house that you're interested in is me, pictures with 1,000 words, but you only have 100 words that resonates with you, and I have 50 words that resonates with me. Utilizing AI in your buyer's web page, you will see the options, the features, the descriptions, the images, the lifestyle that cater to make that house unique to you, even though it's just as much available to me.
Wow, stuff that sounds very futuristic there. So I want to bring it back to a real world example.
Right.
So you talked about omni-channel, and hopefully our listeners understand what that means. But to use a real world example with omni-channel data flow and real-time updates on a Anewgo website, let's say we'll take Sarah as an example, right? Sarah finds a builder that she likes in a Anewgo marketplace, and Sarah starts to design a home of her dreams. Sarah saves that home of her dreams, and she drives down the road to go to that builder to visit their sales center. Now, what happens at the sales center?
So what happens is, using a technology, and you're familiar with this with Amazon and with Facebook and Netflix, it's called single sign-on. So Sarah, when you have narrowed down which builders and communities that you're interested in on the Anewgo marketplace, and you go to that builder's community, you can use potentially like a QR code to bring up your account up there, or you can type it in, but we want to use the QR code because you can just do it on your phone. And now you can pull up everything that you shop there. So not only can you now better communicate with a salesperson, instead of salesperson saying, hey, what are you interested in? You don't remember all the names. And here, this is what I was looking at, and this is what I've actually designed and everything. Guess what? Now, if the salesperson knows that you're coming because you set up an appointment online, they already know what to show you, what to prepare for. They know your lifestyle. They know what kitchen countertops that you're interested in because you've designed your interiors. And so we hit the ground running. And it's not that we're trying to take the people out of the equation. We're trying to make the people better prepared to be a better service to you.
Well,
through the help
accelerate
of
that
AI.
sales process. It's
Through the whole, and then
acceleration. Yeah.
after you had that 2-hour meeting with the design person or the salesperson, now you say, gosh, that's great. Now I can go back home and actually change my mind. I talk to my husband or whatever situation. You can now bring it back up on your website buyer's portal and continue to change it. And then maybe the salesperson gets notified in our analytics insights. The marketing people are using insights for looking at traffic, looking at lead generation. Design people are looking at what the most popular colors and options and schemes and lots. But the salesperson gets notified that, hey, I thought Sarah was so interested in that Craftsman home, the Windsor. And actually, she ended up buying the Colonial home, the Maddox. When the buyers change, the salesperson can now also change and address their needs wherever they're at in the sales process.
Yes, it works two ways, right? The fact that it's omni-channel and the data flows from one to the other, whether you're accessing it in a marketplace, on the website, or in a sales kiosk, and the fact that it updates real time. So let's say Sarah ended up placing a reservation with the salesperson in person. Then she goes home. Now John can no longer access that home site with that plan because Sarah has placed a hold on it, a reservation. So just because it happened at the kiosk in that moment, John is no longer able to reserve that at home on his computer because it is real time. The salesperson didn't have to call the sales manager after they placed that sticker on the board and saying it's offline now. We need to update this on our website.
Those pins.
This happens
Yeah.
real time as the salesperson reserves that for Sarah Williams, now that is automatically reflected on the website. It's automatically reflected in the marketplace. It is automatically reflected on the builder's dashboard. So they can see real time what is available. All the information is syncing. And again, you don't have to wait 24 hours, once a day to sync it. As soon as that change happens, it's automatically updated. When they make one change, say they introduce a new color scheme into a community, they don't have to go on all these different pieces of marketing material to now update it, because it automatically updates. So that is going to be time saver, where you update one thing on your website and it rolls through to the rest of your marketing material, keeping everything in check, keeping everything uniform, making sure there's no errors created. So that's just going to save a ton of time for marketing people too.
I get a lot of the data is stored in too many places. That's like a huge thing for our marketers, that our buyer's journey at Anewgo is stored in what we call insights. And then they have Google data studios or Google Analytics stored somewhere else. And they're just, our current clients are struggling with time, with resources, and just being able to marry the data together. And what's really exciting to me, because I hear this all the time, is that with our website, we're going to be able to marry all that data together. That buyer's journey is going to be so much clearer because the data is all going to live in the same place now. You still have your Google Analytics, so to speak, but you're going to control everything from the same dashboard. Yeah.
Just to echo the same thing, data is the lifeblood of online businesses. And we are at the hub of that, in that ours is very buyer centric. At the end of the day, you have to sell to a customer. So we want to know who the customer is, where they're coming from, how they engage or disengage, and what they're looking at. And we marry that people data with the product data, because we actually create the content. We create all the floor plans, elevations. A lot of our builders don't even know how it looks like or what the options are until they see it on our platform. So we married people and product. We've also tied it to the ERP systems that feed all that product information in. And we also tie it to the CRM systems, which shows you what all the people are doing with it, and all how the online sales consultants are interacting with it. Bringing all that data together, as well as website traffic data, which could be either from Google coming in or even Facebook and all that stuff, actually gives us a more holistic idea and radar of what's going on in your organization from people and product. And some of those things, the example that you gave, Anya, about the salesperson making a reservation, and because if we're doing your website particularly, that home site that's now reserved automatically gets updated in the marketing channel. But also, one of the features that we can now introduce is similar to like airline and hotel rooms. We can see how many people are looking at lot 15. On the back end, you can even see who they are if they registered. But what that could actually create is a little bit of pressure to hurry up and reserve as a consumer, or shows popularity. And then because we also control the website, some of the messaging that we can put around, hey, only 3 left, this new plan is coming online soon, or we're going to have an inventory home built, based on all that data that is holistically put in one place, we can now make your website a sales engine, not just a marketing engine.
Data is so important for both online sales as well as in-person sales. So one hope for me is that as we roll out the websites and our analytics insights, that salespeople get access to it and start to use it. When I look at our dashboard with insights, my only regret that I didn't have that when I was selling homes, because literally, you guys, you can see every single thing that Sarah Williams did. You can see that Sarah looked at 5 different plans in 3 different communities. She landed on community A and she selected plan C with these options. So now as a salesperson, like you said, John, she's coming in to meet with me. I have all the information I need right here to prepare for a really great conversation with Sarah, instead of starting what brings you in today. Now you already know everything she's done, and you're able to guide her much more meaningfully through the sales funnel, and actually create the concierge experience. You already know what she's looking for. And now as a sales expert, you can recommend other things that she may consider with this plan, etc. Now online, we're able to utilize all of that data for some really cool targeted marketing. So for example, right, as Sarah reserved home site 15 and it's no longer available, we can send an email to all people who've looked at home site 15 saying,
Right.
hey, guess what? Bad news, home site 15 just sold. Price is going up by $1,000, but great news, we still have these 3 home sites that are similar available to you. So using all of that data is the key, and not only online, but also in person. Now, speaking of data, I know there's a lot of misconceptions and some bad players, unfortunately, give the rest of the people out there some bad rap. So let's talk about how do we handle clients' data? What do we do with that data? Because I think some people may fear that Anewgo has all of my data. How are they going to use that data? And if I ever wanted to leave Anewgo, what happens with that data? And because all of my data now suddenly in one place, is that dangerous?
We do nothing with your data. Literally, your data is for you. So we created an insights and analytics platform. If you're a current client or if you decide to work with us today, we have a platform you can subscribe to that we've organized it in a really great, beautiful way that you can look at all of your registrations, what those folks are doing, all those leads, or what traffic is doing, even if they're unregistered. So we have anonymous data, we have registered data. So literally we do nothing with it except for organize it for our clients that choose to look at it, and they can do what our clients or builders can do whatever they want with it. Now, things that you might have heard other companies doing that I would just want to be clear that we don't do here is we don't sell to third parties. We don't have partners or third parties, or we don't share it with consultants. We have not created this whole ecosystem to package it together and resell it. There's companies out there that are data companies that are coming into our space to gather more data to resell it. That's not who we are here at Anewgo. Literally, your data is your data. We're just here to serve it up to you, and so you can accelerate that sales process and give the best customer experience possible.
One follow-up question to that real
Yeah.
quick is, do I want to have all my data eggs in one place, so to speak, right? Should I choose Anewgo as my provider instead of, say, choosing maybe one company for content visualization, another company for a website, another company for something else? So talk to me about that.
That's great. I work with builders all the time and our builder partners. Some feel really strongly with going with one provider, and others feel like they want to shop around and use different providers. What I'll say to you, if you decide to do different providers, is you have disparate information. If that interactive content's giving you data, it lives on its own island. Nothing is tied together. There's no buyer story that's going along. You have floor plan data. You have, in Anewgo's world, we do floor plans, exteriors, site maps, and interior visualizers. We give you data on all of those points. If you choose to use different providers, you'll have different CMS. If you don't know what that means, it's content management system, and different data sets. So now my question to those folks is, how do you marry that data together? You can't, right? Or is someone sitting there, you're paying someone really a lot of money to figure this all out. You can bring it all into a data warehouse if you have a data warehouse, but most builders, that's $100,000 expense to build it, or a Power BI situation. That's an extraordinarily huge expense. And now you have to create your own platforms, which Anewgo has invested that money so we could scale it across all of our builder partners. That's what our insights is a data warehouse. And we've created a whole platform for those builders that don't want to do it themselves and take all the different parts together. So that's the value of working with a company like Anewgo with all-in-one. We can give you the whole buyer's experience, take one buyer or one visitor and marry all the data together in one profile versus having to bandage it all up or put it all together, export it all, put it into a huge data warehouse, and then have your own data set. If you're a builder that can afford that, if you're a builder that loves that kind of stuff, that's more power to you. But the builders that we typically work with, that is not the case. And that's why we built this awesome system.
I'll give you a more practical probably explanation here. 80% of probably the data that's generated for your company related to marketing is probably from us anyway. So to say, oh, putting it all with Anewgo, we probably have 80% of that data for the product, like I said, because we create the content, and for the buyers because we create the buyers portals and shopping journey. And we're probably the only ones that see your entire channels from the portal to the community sales center. So we're probably the only ones that can see the entire sales journey. So what we're lacking is probably a lot of the foot traffic, the anonymous traffic that's going across your website. That's valuable, but at the end of the day, it actually giving us that data doesn't really expose a lot because it's anonymous anyway. What we're trying to do is actually say, look, based on your campaigns, it drove traffic to these pages and you're paying this much for SEO and everything. What we're showing is how long did it take to convert it into a lead? Because ultimately what you want is a lead, not just somebody that was your competitor looking at your website or just stuck in some page. So we can now tell you what is wrong with your system, how we can improve it. When you look in our Anewgo insights, we are already capturing what the buyer is doing when they send an email out, when they share on Facebook, when even we have their IP address, so we can tell you who they were before they revealed who they were. Now, we don't see it when they were out there as an anonymous website user, but now if we can marry that in there, now I know that, hey, Sarah Williams, she's actually been looking at your website, this website for 3 months before she registered. What was she looking at? Well, she was really looking at your warranty programs. Or she really looking at your history and your awards? That helps you as a marketer know how to cater to the next Sarah Williams. And we actually have traffic, not just for your website, but actually for Sarah Williams herself. So I can see her engagement score. I can see when she is up and when she is down. I see when she's lost and when she's found. So that kind of information tied together across your entire marketing platform is critical. And to put the fear in everybody to say, if they get that anonymous traffic data that we could see on Google Analytics, which is now going to cookieless,
Right.
really, you're actually hurting yourself because it's not hurting us and it's not utilizing us. We're not going to sell anonymous traffic to somebody else. Who cares?
I also wanted to bring up something Anya had said earlier about CRMs and being able to tie it in. What we're currently working on in-house is a new feature here at Anewgo of creating better integrations with the top 3 CRMs in our industry. So Anya, you were saying like you hope the salespeople can check in and see it. So we have all of these tools that we offer. If you choose to use all these different providers, they might not have the same integration that we're about to build. So what we're building is being able to let a salesperson know, hey, Anya's back on the site. Here's and give and actually add it to the CRM, add those milestones from Anewgo's insights into the CRM. And then our marketers can take that whenever it shows up in the CRM and have those as trigger events for marketing automation or marketing campaigns. So we really are trying to marry CRMs with the Anewgo data. So salespeople don't have to go into a whole new platform, that they can stay in their CRM and actually see all of the insights. Marketers will probably still go in, obviously, because they're looking at, if they're using our websites, they'll be able to see all the data in one place now with our new products. But salespeople, we know you, we love you, you like to stay in one place. We're going to bring that information to you.
Just expound on that a little bit with our analytics and our data. And even if we have website data, we can now notify the salesperson on when they want to be notified, how they want to be notified, or when the buyer has reached certain steps in the sales journey. And utilizing AI, this is where the wonderful thing about AI is, because as much as people hate AI, they actually hate looking at all the Google Analytics and all the Insights Analytics and going in there every day. So what we want to do is, once we have that data, AI is like bacteria in a septic system. They feed on all that data. So what happens is, we on the back end, we use AI, and now you use the AI to query as a salesperson or as a marketing person or design person or as a manager. What was the most popular home site? What is the most popular coast? What's the average square footage of the house that we're selling? Which communities are doing the best? Which salesperson is doing the best? How many people looked at lot 15? Who were those people? And then using that to query the information instead of looking at charts and graphs and tables and analytics and waiting for the monthly meeting, which is who cares, it's already too late. Now it can now use AI to empower you, and then it can actually use AI to be an optimization agent So it optimizes the data toward the goals that you want. It can actually be a predictive tool. So it can now predict people like Sarah will also like these options and these kind of kitchens. So now you can get ahead of the game, and not just ahead of the game for yourself, but ahead of the game versus your competition. And then utilize that to generate marketing automation, because the beautiful thing about AI is not just the artificial intelligence, it's generative content. It's called Gen AI. It's generating the visuals, the descriptions, even the voice. If you come to the sales kiosk and talking to you, that's what we envision, but it's all data driven. Data drives everything. And if you break up your data, you're breaking up yourself.
Bacteria and septic tank. What an analogy, John.
I'm just saying that to a lot of people, they think of the analytics as like a cesspool. They don't want to go in there. They're getting dirt, they're getting their hands dirty, and it stinks. And I'm saying that AI, it loves that stuff. Just tell me what you want out of it, and I'll give it to you. And
well, and the
great.
big thing is we talk about here is we tag all of the data. So
Right.
the floor plans can be trained for AI, like everything's AI trained here. And we've been preparing for this for years. When I started Anewgo 3 years ago, we've been talking about AI since before I came on board. But since day one here and how we're training all of our data, we had no idea what the past year, it went way faster than any of us thought. But our content, we've been training it all along, at least since I've been here for 3 years, for this AI revolution. And I don't know, guys. I don't know. No one else is talking about this. No one else is talking about their content being tagged and AI friendly.
Exactly.
That I'm
The
aware of.
irony is everybody looks at us as the visualization company. They look at, wow, there's some beautiful renderings and beautiful visualizations. The secret sauce is actually in the DNA and the data. We've actually data tagged everything. We actually have all the paint libraries for all the major paint vendors in North America. We have thousands of bricks and stones and countertops and even furniture and stuff. We have this huge data library, and all the floor plans have all been read. They've all been data tagged. So we know all the rooms and all the options and all the dimensions. And we know the exteriors of it has a front entry garage, side entry garage. We know the site plans, whether how many lots and what amenities are in that. That becomes an AI. I don't want to say cesspool, but that's a playground for AI. It's
AI enabled, John, is what I like to say. It's
yes,
AI enabled.
it's AI enabled, AI friendly, but it's also consumer friendly, because when the buyer is describing their dream home, their dream lifestyle, their dream community within the parameters of their budgets and time and everything, what OSC, what salesperson can actually handle all that?
What owner?
Yeah.
Nobody knows that much level of
Right.
Sometimes we joke around here at Anewgo that we know more about the houses and floor plans than some of our own builders, because we touch every single aspect of them.
Yes.
Down to the granular detail.
Yes. And I think the website is the final piece, because the website of all those channels right now is the most archaic. I think it's hit its ceiling on what it can do. If you want to make it AI friendly, AI enabled, you're actually going to have to tear the structure down and rebuild it, because you have to break up all your data into granular pieces like the alphabet for now the AI to now reassemble based on patterns that it recognizes and can communicate in a language particular to that unique buyer. And maybe they don't need to visit 80% of your website. They only need the 20% that relates to them. And as a marketer, and particularly as a business owner, who cares if they don't go to the other 80%? All you want to do is get them to buy from you in the most efficient, cost-effective way that pleases them.
So the reason why Anewgo is able to build this AI-enabled website is because our content is AI-enabled. So not only it's going to allow for AI to work within your website, but it's also going to allow AI virtual assistants to find the website because of all the data tagging. And that is the key right now, right? SEO is out and AIO is in.
Great way to wrap it up. If you want to look into the future and you're talking about AIO, people are like, what is AIO? Okay, AI is obviously artificial intelligence, but now it's optimized for artificial intelligence. So your content and your channel. And when I say your channel, if the AI is now where the shopping journey starts, because everybody has their chat GPT or their virtual assistant, they may not even go and type in keywords to go find a bunch of websites to go to. They're just going to ask their AI, hey, I'm interested in this kind of house and this place and with these things or whatever. If your channel is blocked off from the AI, and it can't even get into the content.
You're not even part of the conversation.
The AI is going to be like Uber or DoorDash. It's bringing the content to the buyer in their conversation. They're not going to go to all these places. So when it brings it to them, it needs to be able to go across your website wall and barrier and be able to bring that content along with the actual products, bring that into the conversation visually or textually, descriptively, and then those 5 houses that shows up in the conversation may be where the conversation ends or begins.
The search engines are changing the game. Anya, I know you have your favorites. I have my favorites. I talk to my siblings and my friends, and people are downloading ChatGPT and just talking into their search engines now. Like everybody is, it's starting. I don't want to say everybody is doing it, because that's false. We all know plenty of people that don't even know what we're talking about when you talk about AI bots in search engines. But the way that the original search engines all expired, there's different generations of the best search engines. That's, I think, what we're seeing right now with Perplexity, with ChatGPT, with Bard. That's your favorite, right, Anya? There's the different
Claude.
ones. Claude. Sorry, Claude. There's Bard, there's Claude. So
girl.
you're going to find your favorite, and those top ones are going to rise to the top with the highest users. Right now, it's GPT, it's ChatGPT. But we're going to see like that people are going to be battling it out. And the way we've all searched is going to be antiquated here very soon. We still probably have a couple more years, but it's happening right now.
But see, later on, as you're saying, people are not adopting some of this stuff yet. Pretty soon, you don't have a choice, because what's happening is the search engines themselves. Google was the most dominant one. Of course, it doesn't want to disrupt itself early, but it's the last one actually coming to the party, because Bing is already using ChatGPT. Amazon's going to use Claude and Anthropic. When Google has now switched to Bard and utilizing Gemini as artificial intelligence, they are shifting from SEO, search engine optimization, to what they're calling as an intermediary SGE, which search generative experience. So you're a little bit of search in there, but it's generating that experience, that personalized conversation. Ultimately, that's going to lead to the AIO, which is artificial intelligence optimization. So you as a consumer won't have a choice, because your searches are going to become AI driven. Builders need to start preparing now. First thing is actually not to go change your whole website, is to actually get interactive content. It doesn't matter you build a great TV there, but if all your stuff only comes in standard definition content, it's still going to look bad. So start with interactive content, which is what we do. You're going to need to do that anyway. And then the next phase is now evolve into smart interactive websites.
I think we addressed most of the questions and objections that, Sarah, you hear, but let's see. If I am current Anewgo user, say I use your exterior color tool and maybe your insights, or maybe I do use the app, do I have to get the website, or can I just keep on using the products that I have right now?
So you do not have to use Anewgo websites. That is just going to be another offering that we tie all of our content together and display in our websites, and based on this whole entire podcast. So you can absolutely still use our core products the same way you always have been. And that's what John, to piggyback on what John just said, start with interactive content. You could use it on your existing website. If you love your website provider, you love everything about it, that doesn't have to change. You don't have to switch to Anewgo. You can use our products. But going back to earlier in the conversation, that there's still going to be a little bit of friction on like how you implement it. It's still not going to, your data is not going to sync together, those types of things. But that's the way I'm doing air quotes, has always been done. And it's still an okay way. Eventually, we believe that iframes will become outdated, because we're going to be introducing this whole new way of a seamless integration. But for now, you're safe to just move into and keep your tools as is on your current websites. There's no fear I'm trying to place on you, but our goal is to create a better experience or an alternate experience, because we have clients that have been pushing us in that direction. So if you're so satisfied with our tools on your website, keep going. But we have builders that are pushing us to create alternate solutions, which is websites. And that's really why we decided to do this.
All right, I'm going to play a little bit of a devil's advocate here, and I'm going to say, what do you even know about websites? Why are you guys getting into the websites?
Right now, the websites are all seller centric. So as the marketer, you're trying to figure out a one size fits all for everybody that could ever shop your place. Why not think about the customer first? Why not make your websites dynamic that actually changes around each buyer's taste. Because some people may love a lot of buttons, they may love all those colors, they love that font, but somebody else doesn't like that. So now you can actually give the flavor of the day to your customers. It's that concierge experience. It's a trick question. What is the best website? A generic website is not the best website. A personalized website is closer to the truth.
And I would like to add too that if you have your favorite agency, if you have your favorite consultants, they are still going to be part of this journey. If you have someone that knows how to do SEO, or someone that does your AdWords, or any of those things, right? They're coming along on this ride with us. They're invited. They'll have full access. If you, our builder partners, allow them to. We will not just give anyone access. It has to be up to the builders, but that is all going to be friendly. It's not going to be like a closed off that Anewgo built the website and we have to do all these other things for you. It's actually an open door policy. We're going to invite consultants and agencies in so they can manage all of that for our home builders.
So I know we talked a lot about some of the features. So why don't we do a quick recap for what features can people expect when we roll out Anewgo websites?
So in summary, the features that we're going to be including: seamless integration. So if you use us currently, you know what we're talking about, but just a really great customer experience. This is another part of the Anewgo ecosystem. So websites, apps, sales center kiosk, and our Anewgo marketplace are all one, and we would have a single sign-on. So a shopper can go through each and every place where they experience Anewgo and experience you, the home builder, and it'll be the same, and you'll have all that data for the whole entire journey and the whole experience. The private buyers portal, that's really exciting. Some builders already have this. It's that login. You might have named it after your builder, or if you're using Anewgo today, it's that My Home app login. It'll be private to your home shoppers, so they can literally take their shopping cart across all the different channels, to the sales center kiosk, to the marketplace, to obviously online. So literally all of everything they save in their favorites will all be there. So start where you're left off, really, is what we're going for. And it's exactly how we believe consumers are used to with Facebook, with Netflix, with Hulu, all of those things. You can really see all your favorites in one spot.
Part of this is, trying to tie into your existing way of marketing, which includes SEO, SEM, search engine marketing, and upcoming AIO. So we want to make sure it's compatible with the way people may start their searches, and we want to be able to track all that in our backend insights, so we see the complete customer journey from when they're anonymous third-party traffic to when they've actually given you their information as a first party or even zero party where they're asking you for help. We can actually see that kind of entire journey. And if they're asking for help, we can now bring the sales and marketing people in at the right stage to help close the deal. So this whole website is just part of our evolution to a better online customer journey and experience to help the builders sell more homes versus existing homes and through and other platforms.
And if you guys would like to learn more about Anewgo websites and stay up to date on all the news as we continue to develop and roll it out to the public, please visit anewgo.com/website, and you can get on our list there where we'll keep you posted. All right, you guys, I think it's time to wrap it up. We've gone this way over our allotted time frame for this. So any last words as we say goodbye to everybody?
I'm just excited. I think this is going to be huge for our industry. I love moving our industry forward, and feel free to reach out, Sarah@anewgo.com, if you have questions about anything that we have to offer, or just if you want to talk about AI and how it's going to impact the industry. I'm always ready to have a chat. So I'm here for any of you that are just want to have a private conversation about products, about AI, and about where the industry is headed.
Yeah, and I'm just super excited in that for maybe the first time ever in this industry, we may be able to lead the world. Sounds pretty audacious there, but there's a lot of stuff that we are doing from a complexity, from visualization, from utilizing AI as a virtual assistant that could really be a game changing. Builders that are able to adopt early will have a head start.
And I'm excited to go for the ride. It's been great to witness all the things that we've brought to market already. And like I said, I think both Sarah and I were absolutely blown away by what we saw for the first website demo. So we can't wait to share that more of that with you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
And bye.
Bye.
Thanks.